All right, everyone. We're back. Water Polo Wednesday with another episode of some fun content. If you're watching us, you're on YouTube. Please do like, subscribe, all those things do certainly help the channel. And make sure after you listen to this episode, let us know what you think on Water Polo Exchange and join the communities. Lots of fun discussions happening there. waterpoloexchange.com. Wes, before we go into what the heck happened last weekend, which we're very excited to get into, we are even more excited because it's ding, 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 Fordham week. I wish we had like a big fanfare thing, but we don't. But Fordham week, that's happening this weekend. There we got a graphic for you for those who are watching. We got a graphic. Fordham week. We've been talking about this all season. Fordham has been this team that's ranked number 5, just kind of in this mystery pocket. We don't know where they land. Yeah. And here they are. They're coming out to the West Coast and are finally going to get some tests of top 10 teams. So, Wes, we're going to let you roll right into that.
I've been looking forward to this week all year. I think I created this graphic like 5 weeks ago because I've been thinking about
very nice graphic, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, you can. That's a GPT.
No,
YouTube
it's not.
GPT.
You did that by hand.
It is. Yeah, I drew it by hand. But I have really been looking forward to this for a number of reasons, right? Like, it was a real joy to watch Fordham play at the NC2As. That was the last time we saw them live. I didn't get to see them play at all. They had an early season loss versus UCLA, but who didn't? And they also beat Pacific.
USC didn't.
USC didn't have an early. Well, that's right. Very good. We'll get to that. That was an unbelievable game. But
sorry, getting ahead of ourselves
a little bit. But more than anything, right? Like, we've wanted to see these guys play a top 4 team, and the talk last year was, Fordham didn't play a top 4. Fordham didn't play a top 5. And Pacific the same. So Pacific is playing them all this year. I believe Fordham's getting 3 of 4. They're getting everybody but USC this year. So really excited for this. It's great. You're going to see Andras Toth, who I believe is a top 3 player in the United States. He is on another level right now. Luca Provenciani, who's also outstanding, though Andras, I believe, is kind of overtaken him just statistically as we look at like what they've done. Now, granted, it's against a little bit lesser competition on the East Coast in that Mid-Atlantic, and that's why everybody wants to see this, right? So through 14 games, let me give you some stats here. Through 14 games, Andras Toth, 68 goals, 67% shooting, 30 steals, 12 blocks, 25 assists. Provenciani. Now, mind you, Provenciani led the team last year in goals, so this is going to tell you just how good Andras has kind of become. Provenciani has 41 goals on 64% shooting, 54 assists, and 23 steals. Lucas Silvestre, the elder statesman, he's in his final year, 25 goals. Barnabas Epa, 20 goals, 29 drawn exclusions, but he's only played in 12 games. So he's averaging over 2 exclusions drawn per game and almost two goals a game. Diego Tressa, their freshman center from Italy, was 26 goals, 29 drawn exclusions in 18 games. Alessandro Salapante, 21 goals, 23 assists. The team is averaging 20 goals per game on 56% shooting. Now, will the 20 goals continue? Maybe. I mean, they're putting up a lot. But it's you can see here, Silvestre is older, but Toth, Provenciani are sophomores. Epa is a junior. Tressa and Salapante are freshmen. So they've got some balance here. Right now, they have some problems necessarily on defense, which is typical for teams with younger players and goalies. But we're going to see what that looks like this week as we roll into it. So here's Fordham's West Coast schedule. We're going to release this on Tuesday, so Tuesday 4 p.m. versus Long Beach at Long Beach. I don't believe that's going to be streamed, so get out there and watch if you can. That should be a very good game. Thursday, 3 p.m. at Cal. That will be streamed, I believe, on overnight. Okay, so may want to watch that one. Saturday versus Stanford. I don't believe that's going to be streamed, but it'll be at Santa Clara. My understanding is that that's not being streamed as of now, but that is at Santa Clara. If you're around, Fordham at Santa Clara versus Stanford at 1 p.m. That'll be a great game. I wish I could make that game. I can't make that game, which is a bummer. I am going to try and get to that Cal game on Thursday. And then Saturday, should be Sunday. Sunday, 9:20 a.m., San Jose State. So look, they've got Long Beach who started the year in the top 10. We'll see where they rank in our rankings coming up. Cal, who, well, we haven't done our rankings yet, but we know they're top 4. Stanford, we know, is top 4. San Jose State is going to be top 10. They basically picked, hey, who's going to be the toughest road trip outside of really a Davis or Pacific? These are the best teams right now in Northern California, with a little bit of swing to Southern California. So good for them for taking on the challenge. I love this. This is going to be a great week of water polo, and we'll see how it shakes out. It's not season defining, because they're in Mid-Atlantic, so they should still win their conference. But it's a good barometer, right? Like, where are they at right now? It's just right now. This is where they're at right now. It's not maybe indicative of where they'll be at the end of the season. Yep. You would hope it's not indicative. But it is a good barometer to see where they're at right now.
Yep. So just a quick recap for everyone listening. The game starts Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Tuesday, Long Beach at 4. Thursday, Cal at 3. Saturday, Stanford at 1. Sunday, San Jose State at 9:20 a.m. earlier game. And that first game against Long Beach not be streamed. I'm assuming Cal and Stanford will be streamed on overnight.
Cal should be streamed on overnight. Stanford, as of now, is not being streamed, and I don't believe the San Jose State game is being streamed either.
Okay, so the only streaming opportunity, if you're not able to catch these games in person, is the Thursday 3 p.m. at Cal.
Yeah. As of now, things could change. That's
if you want to put something on your calendar, that's it.
Yeah. So that's what we've got this week. Really excited to see the boys play. Again, immense level talent. For those of you who haven't seen Andras Toth move through water, it looks like he's one with water. It's poetry. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Remember, when he went out at World Championships for U20s, Hungary did not win another game. That's how influential he is on the game. Teams they had beat, including the U.S., with him. They didn't have him. They didn't beat U.S. without him. So it tells you how good of a player Andras Toth is. It'll be interesting to see how he does against, Ponferrada on that side. He'll be matched up with Ponferrada. He'll probably have to match up with Zalan, another teammate of his at Long Beach, and Shamu Birosh and Mitch Keatley at San Jose State. Stanford will probably go up against Botan, which again, there's all Hungarians basically, other than Ponferrada. So he's going to be up against his countrymen all week long. He's going to love it. It's going to be fun for him to do. And I'm really curious to see how Epa plays. Can he keep his head about him? Last time we saw him was Brankovic. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they got to do a tussle in that semifinal game, which was a major impact. Everyone knows that the semifinal of NC2As last year, Fordham versus USC, very anticipated, and Fordham was very much holding their own. But then their starting far and away better center, Epa, got rolled because he got tied up a little bit too much with Brankovic. So if he stayed in that whole game, it might have been a different story. So we'll see what happens this year.
Hard to know. So here we go. All right, so let's break it down now. We'll keep rolling forward. Final scores: Princeton 9, UCI 8, CBU 13, Santa Clara 8, Princeton 17, Long Beach 10, Pacific 13, Pepperdine 12, Long Beach 14, UCSD 12, LMU 21, Air Force 16. That is a lot of goals. UCI 10, Santa Barbara 9, Princeton 9, USC 10, Princeton 9, UCSD 10, Pepperdine 18, Air Force 14. I'm going to make some comments about Air Force later on in the show. Be sure to tune in for that. Pacific 15, LMU 11. I think that's a closer score than it really was, even because they were up 9-2. I feel like at one point, Clay.
Yeah.
Stanford 18.
I think it was 11-2, but yeah. Go on.
Yeah. Oh, Stanford 18, Davis 12, Stanford 12, Cal 8, USC 13, UCLA 12. And remember, if you join as a member on our YouTube channel, be sure to email us. And we will send you a link to a page that has all the scores of all the games and links to see the data. So every single game, we've manually put in these links to all the different scoring systems that are out there. There's two major ones, but that way you have everything you need in one place. You don't have to search around for anything. It's a nice little add-on. So Clay, why don't you talk about some of this? You were on the Pacific LMU game, the Pacific Pepperdine game, both close games. Or sorry, the Pepperdine Pacific game was closer. Pacific LMU, not quite as close as maybe you thought it would be.
Yeah, I was very excited to do the call for both of these games. Pacific coming down, playing in Malibu against Pepperdine, and Westchester against LMU. We thought that these would both be very close games. for a lot of reasons. There's that whole 6 through 15, whatever we're going to call it, area is just such a free for all in terms of who can beat who. And they're bringing different things to the table. And Pacific looked solid. They looked consistent. They looked solid. Their outside shooting was on point. Georgadas, Apostolos Georgadas, may not have the highest shooting percentage, but he will get a lot of opportunities and he will score at least a third, I think, of the shots that he'll take. So he'll go off for 3, 4, 5 goals in a game easily. I was very impressed with Buzaglo in center.
Yeah.
I just really appreciate dynamic center play. He moves a ton, gets himself wide open for pop-up dry passes, and that's on front court offense and on 6-on-5. Like if he's left alone in the middle, he's going to get the ball and he's going to score. Like he finishes so well. We've been calling out Visha for being really consistent and an absolute influencer in these games. Like it's so critical for these teams to have a 4-5 player that can score goals. Like that's so important.
Everybody's
so many
running
teams
that
are running
4-5 drop.
3, 4,
right now.
4, 5 drops.
Everybody's running this drop.
Exactly. So he's been really consistent. Pepperdine, they had the players, certainly, I believe, to overtake Pacific. No question. I noticed there's just a little bit of just being undisciplined on defense, frankly. I thought there were a lot of opportunities where they could have either been pressing their shooters that were getting hot or more fully back onto Buzaglo. A lot of guys getting caught in between, stair-step defenses where the chain was broken, things like that, not finishing their opportunities. So I know that they're very disappointed by that loss, knowing that they could have come out a little bit stronger, especially after the CBU loss 15-10. I think they would have loved to see themselves come out with more aggression, saying we're not going to get bullied like that again, and it kind of happened. So even though it was a very close game, I feel like Pacific was very much in control for most of that game, and there was hope of them coming back, but Tigers locked it down. For LMU, yeah, like we said earlier, I think it started like 3-1. It's like, okay, like Pacific's getting a 2-goal lead. All of a sudden, 4-goal, 5-goal, 6-goal, 7-goal, 8-goal. It was a 9-goal lead, if not more, by like half or shortly after. It might have been like 11-13 at the top of the third, around there. And at that point, it's like, okay, we just want to have a good second half and just not completely embarrass ourselves. We had it didn't look like anything too crazy that Pacific was doing. They were demanding a drop from LMU, and they were getting their shooters to shoot from up top. Visha had a hat trick in like the first 3 minutes of the game, I feel. Kashagal scoring his goals. Georgadas is scoring his goals. Ball's going into center. Buzaglo is drawing exclusions. So they're running a very aggressive drop and then not moving on those outside shooters. And then offensively for LMU, Bodic was holding water in set. Maybe he could have been a little deeper, but they're running this 2-3-4 zone where anytime Balzanetti, Naone, or Rebelo Corbalon was getting the ball, they were getting hit immediately while there was someone back in set. So they just had no answer to that. And then there were a couple adjustments I want to call out that. And this goes to show how, props to James Graham for getting his team to where they were, but absolutely props to David Carrasco, head coach of LMU, for making some adjustments to close the gap within 3 goals and realistically being able to tie the game towards the end of the fourth. I think they were down 3 with like 3 minutes left. Like, wow, that's incredible. They pulled the goalie, they put in Brera Sanchez in the cage, and they took out their centers and had the most vicious high lane press defense that I maybe have ever seen in college water polo. They had only their guys in that could swim fast and move well and anticipate well. And they were getting steals constantly. Now you see, of course, if you're up by 7-9 goals, you're going to play a little bit more relaxed, maybe a little bit more conservatively. And that makes you more susceptible to, making bad passes. And LMU's trying to prove themselves. They care a lot more, but very excited to see that game perhaps closing out, but then there was a goal to put them back up by 4, and they maintained that lead for the rest of the game. So still excited to see if you guys watched that game. Hopefully the call still made it exciting, but great to be there. And it's really, I want to see this Pacific team in 1 year, 2 years of how
they're young.
They're mostly, like we call it Vish, who's a 5th year, but like across the line, otherwise they're almost all freshmen except for Buzaglo, who's a sophomore. So 1 to 2 years, again, this Pacific team, I think, is going to be very formidable.
They're dangerous. Very dangerous. Thank you for that, Clay. Yeah, it looked like 2:45 left. It was a 3-goal game. So within striking distance, it's incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
After being down 9-2 at half. So, man, they rally back. Similarly, we'll talk a little bit now about the Stanford-Cal matchup. Stanford was a boa constrictor. They got ahead and they just absolutely suffocated and just strangled out Cal's offense. There was nothing that Cal's offense could do. Aside from Beso Ahkvlediani, he who had, I have to look, I believe it was like 5 goals. There really wasn't much going for Cal on offense. They came out quite candidly, and I think they would admit to this. They were quite a bit flat. Not to take anything away from Stanford, but they just didn't look like their normal spark, like push self. I'd like to see more action from them on their right side, that 4-5 side. They've got so many lefties and so many weapons that they've got to get something going from that side, because as we talked about, there's all this 4-5 drop that's occurring, moving into space without the ball and so on and so forth. Stanford on the other side, dominant performance from Stanford. We called out earlier in the week that their play against Long Beach was the best I had seen all year. That continued. Their offense continued to be very good. 12 goals is not a ton, but when you're holding teams to 8, that's outstanding. I don't know if I would bank on holding Cal to 8 a second time when they play them up at Cal. They're going to need more than 12 goals if they're going to win. But they do enough to win there, and they had a pretty substantial lead at one point. It didn't feel close. You kind of get that feeling. Dom Brown was rolled in the third quarter. Early third, which really hurt them. They basically were left in with Chase Wilson, who no center should be asked to play more than 3 minutes at a time. That's just unreasonable. He basically had to play the whole second half because Gigo Saramsaki, who wasn't rostered for the game, because you can only roster so many on the road trips. So they chose to not roster that third center, which ended up, that hurt pretty big. Hindsight's 2020. You don't know that's going to happen with Dom, but it is what it is there at that point. Tomas Perrone was first game back after about a month off. It was obvious he had not had game reps in a month. Even for a freak athlete like Perrone, it's you need reps. You have to have reps. We've talked about this. If you miss one day, you miss 2 days, your teammates know. You miss 3 days, the whole world knows. And it was obvious to me that Perrone was he just hasn't played. He'll get back, dude. The guy's elite, but he's just got to keep playing. So all hats off to Stanford. I thought they were really good. Yep. Georgie was very good in the middle, 2 of 2. Boti, 3 of 7. Forer again, 4 of 7. So there's 9 goals between those 3 guys. We've called this out. They're where you go. The challenge will be when they take on USC, UCLA, and again Cal, is can their depth hold up? Because if they start getting targeted, and we're going to talk about this in just a second, like Davis did to Stanford, what will they do? So Davis figured something out. At halftime, I was on the call for the Davis game, and my play-by-play guy, Greg Wong, who has been great to work with, said, Wes, what does Davis need to do? Because they were down 4 or 5, I think, at half. And I said, they need to go matchup based. Davis has some big bodies, and I'm like, they need to start driving some of the shooters of Stanford in and posting up. They have to go matchup based. Like, hey, isolate, play 2 triangles, kind of like a 6-on-5 setup, but play 2 triangles, right side, left side. Go matchup based and get their guys into foul trouble. So they did, and they cut it within 2, and they had the ball. And so it was the zone of Stanford completely broke down. And this is with their starters in. This is with DeMartire in. It's with Botan in, Forer in, Ol was in. They just started targeting these guys. And Stanford doesn't have the depth. After those, we've talked about it. After Forer and Botan, there isn't anybody who's consistently a high percentage shooter. They've got guys who will volume shoot, but nobody that's the percentage that Botan and Forer are hitting. So it slowed down the offense by attacking them on defense, if that makes sense. So I'm curious to see if other teams decide to deploy that strategy. Layson is known to be one of the best coaches in the country. It didn't surprise me that he started targeting some of their shooters to drive them inside and force them to play tough defense. Stanford does a nice job on defense when they're in their zone. When that broke down, Thomas Kiesling had a really good game for them. He was good all day, first half, second half, but that was kind of the big deal that I noticed. Now Stanford wins that game, as you would expect Stanford to win that game. I just think it was much tougher in that second half than maybe they anticipated, maybe they wanted. So it was a good weekend of water polo. The San Jose State was it San Jose State? Who they play? Santa Clara. Excuse me. Good grief, Wes, wake up. In Santa Clara was really a good matchup here. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe I missed it on this one. Yeah, I don't think I've got them on here. But San Jose State did beat Santa Clara for another WCC win, which takes us to the WCC standings. Cal Baptist 3-0. So to me,
want to read these?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Then you get so winded later on. I know. Let's keep going. I'll give you a break and gather yourself. WCC standings. Let's see. So we have 7 teams in the conference. So at 7, we have Air Force at the bottom, 0-4. But Tom Leggett's putting up a fight. I'll tell you that. Santa Clara at number 6, 1-2. LMU 1-2. Pepperdine's at number 4, 1-2. San Jose State number 3, 2-1. Pacific 4-1, and Cal Baptist 3-0.
So let's talk about this for a second. First and foremost, the top 3 teams here, San Jose State, Pacific, and Cal Baptist, all are vying for the number 1 seed. They haven't played each other yet. So that's interesting. CBU, I believe, gets Pacific on the 2nd of November. So coming up here, like in a couple weeks, which everything's in a couple of weeks because conference tournaments, Clay, are 1 month away, which is exciting. I know it's flying by, my man. It's flying by. So CBU is going to get Pacific on November 2nd. They then get San Jose State on November 8th. Now, San Jose State has already lost to Pacific, but Pacific had a loss to Santa Clara. Okay, so if CBU wins out, they take the number 1 seed. If Pacific wins out, they take the number 1 seed. San Jose State needs a little help. They have to beat CBU and hope CBU beats Pacific to give Pacific their second loss. Now, why does this matter? Well, for one, the first seed gets a bye in this conference. That first game for the 2 seed will be against Air Force. And Clay, where's the WCC tournament this year?
Air Force, Colorado Springs.
Mile High, in a dungeon, at Air Force Academy, with a band.
A big crowd.
And 500 in uniform soldiers who I would not want to upset. I do not envy whoever gets the 2 seed in this conference. To that point, the only conference championship that Air Force has ever won was at Air Force. It is not a fun place to play. You're at altitude.
You're not Air Force.
You're at altitude. Tom Leggett can put up 12 goals in a game. He can carry a whole team. He shoots the lights out. And this is going to be a very spicy conference because if I'm not vying for 1, which all 3 of these teams are vying for the 1 seed, I'm vying for 3 because I just don't want to play Air Force in the first game. That sounds miserable.
Yeah.
So I know some of the teams are getting out there early. Every team has a different approach. Some teams will be getting out there early, like Wednesday. I think some teams will get out there late, like Thursday night, or like not Friday morning, but late Thursday night, to avoid being in the altitude for so long. And for those of you who don't know, I will be there. I'll be doing the play-by-play for the WCC championship. I am
so sick.
I am absolutely pumped.
I wish I was there with you.
Yeah, man, I hear you. It's going to be great. It is the most competitive conference in America. It is the most competitive tournament in America because this is their NC2A. For 6 teams who don't make it, this is the NC2A. And you have to figure LMU, Pepperdine, San Jose State, Pacific, CBU, Santa Clara, Air Force. Any one of these teams can knock off any of the other teams. Santa Clara has already beat Pacific this year. Okay? Pacific beat San Jose State. Pepperdine has moments of brilliance. LMU, as you saw in the second half, can do damage. Air Force is at home. You can't rule them out. CBU has been solid this year. They were good last year. I think they're playing better even this year.
Yeah,
See if
playing
they
better
can hold
earlier
on.
in the season. Yeah,
Woo!
the ramp is starting sooner.
Yeah.
They're only getting better for all we know.
Well, we'll see. They got a few games. You know, they got LMU coming up. They're going to be, I think I think they're maybe playing in Julian Frazier Memorial in this upcoming weekend. They'll get Brown, FP, Fresno Pacific, Bucknell, and then they go LMU, Pacific, San Jose State, Fullerton. So, I mean, anything can happen right now. Anything can happen. So we'll see. It's going to be very interesting. See how this all shakes out.
Yep.
So,
all right, we'll go next.
We got to keep going, I guess. I could live here. All
Big
right,
West.
The Big West.
Standings. 6 teams at the bottom. Number 6, Cal State Fullerton, 0-2. Number 5, UC San Diego, 0-2. Number 4, UC Santa Barbara, 1-1. Number 3, UC Irvine, 1-1. Number 2, the Aggies, Davis, 2-0. And number 1, Long Beach State, 2-0.
Yeah. So this conference is interesting to me. It's become pretty clear. Santa Barbara has flashes where they're very good, and then flashes where they're not, and it's the inconsistency that's plaguing them right now. UCI is similar in that way. Davis has the hardest schedule in the country. Has had the hardest schedule in the country. Okay, it's like they're MPSF light because they keep playing these MPSF teams. It's crazy. And Long Beach has had some problems this year. There have been games that they've dropped that I know they feel like with their talent, they shouldn't drop. These two teams to me are clear and away the most consistent and favorites. Davis to me better than Long Beach right now. Long Beach, they had a good win for San Diego. Now I will say, like, when we show our rankings do take into account injuries and players have been ruled out for the year. San Diego, it sounds like, will be without Ackerstrom for the remainder of the year. And that is a giant loss. They have not been good without Ackerstrom. And the commentary will be, well, Wes, what about Pepperdine without Chapo? Chapo has been not playing the whole year.
Yeah.
And Pepperdine has been pretty solid, even without Chapo, the whole year. So that's a different deal. Ackerstrom was hugely influential in a number of their wins. He's no longer there. So that being said, Davis, to me, it's their conference to lose. They've got a tough schedule coming up. We'll see how it shakes out. But to me, it's their schedule. It's their conference to lose. Tournament will be at UCI this year. I've been so impressed with Davis. 11 new players on that roster. 11 new players on that roster. And man, do they play well together. It's led by Hitchcock in the middle, who does God's work. He had a goal from the outside. He had a goal from the outside to lead off that Stanford game. I'm like, where did that come from? Big 6'7" body coming out of the water. My goodness. And then Luca Palavra earning a ton of exclusions. Kiesling has been outstanding. Fosselman was posting up. He had a couple of goals out of post ups like that. He's listed at 6 feet, probably 200. I mean, he's a bulldog in there, man. Like, he is a bulldog. I loved watching him go. Like, he was just would not be denied and played with that enthusiasm we talk about, that aggression, So I have loved watching Davis this year. It is, I think I've done more of their games than anybody else. It has been a real joy for me to get to know these new players and see Tommy Kiesling kind of like really shine. I know he was their leading goal scorer last year. He was really good versus Stanford. His accuracy on shooting is outstanding. His shot selection is very good too. And he works really well with his team. It's just this team thing that they've got going on at Davis, and Kiesling talked about it last week on our show. The team thing they've got going on where they do everything in unison and together down to, I think, probably the socks that they wear it's showing. It really is, because they look more together than any of the other teams right now in the Big West. So to me, that's playing up really huge. I love the culture aspect. I love when we can call that out. So that's been really cool to see. Any comments here, Clay? You've seen a couple of these teams, I know.
Yeah, I mean, early on in the season, I think we called out Long Beach State as bringing in a lot of talent, bringing Touring Stanley from CBU, but discipline and teamwork certainly can upset talent every day. every day. And we're seeing right now, we're seeing the most consistency, most discipline, and most team-oriented play with Davis. But again, any one of these teams can get hot in a game and get excited and play well together, or their shots fall. And so you just don't know what's going to happen. But we'll see.
The team that's kind of the scariest in this conference to me is UCI, because they have so many weapons that when they like click and guys are like firing kind of not at will, but like really letting it fly, they can put up goals in bunches. I don't know if they can get the stops they need, but they're a team that can push you pretty hard.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. All right. Mid-Atlantic.
All right. We got 7 teams here. Bottom 7, Mercyhurst University. Number 6, Mount St. Mary's. Number 5, Wagner. Number 4, Bucknell. Number 3, GW. Number 2, Fordham. Number 1, U.S. Naval Academy. This is based off of wins and losses, mind you.
Yeah, it's based off points. You get points for wins.
Yeah, remember, points. So Fordham University is at 0 losses right now. Let's make that clear.
There are 12 games in your conference play. Everybody plays each other twice in this conference. So Fordham they'll play. The Navy's 1 loss is to Fordham. I got a chance to meet the coach of the assistant coach of Navy, Jack Finch. I want to thank him for saying hello. It was great. It's great to, when I don't obviously get to see these teams play, but had the opportunity to meet some of the coaches and the assistant coach at Princeton as well. I want to just thank everybody for being so kind and reaching out. It's always great to talk water polo and meet you guys and just appreciate, the level of effort that these guys are going to coming to the West Coast and recruiting. Naval Academy has a good recruiting class. They will tell you, like, look, Fordham's a good team this year, though they lost to them even without EPA. So Navy, with Kiefer Black has done quite well this year. I think they're a team on the rise. They continue to recruit at a very high level. They don't have the same, I was asking about it, they don't have the same roster restrictions that other schools have, Clay, because they're Armed Service Academy, Armed Forces. So that was pretty interesting. But have this conference, Fordham, Navy, and then kind of what's next, if you will. We'd hope maybe Bucknell would take that step this next year, GW. But, conference play, we'll see what happens. Conference will be at Fordham this year, which is a pretty distinct advantage for the team that's the favorite there. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, Northeast.
All right, number 6, Long Island. Number 5, Mass Institute of Technology. Number 4, Brown. Number 3, Iona. Number 2, Princeton. And number 1, Harvard. Still sitting with wins and losses here.
Yeah, well, it maps out perfectly on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Harvard did beat Princeton. I found the tiebreaker is goal differential head-to-head. So if Princeton beats Harvard at Harvard for that 1 seed, goal differential head-to-head. Now, mind you, there are only 6 teams in this conference, which means 1 and 2 both get a bye. So we'll see what happens there. Mm-hmm. Brown, I was hoping for more from Felix and Brown this year. I know they've got 2 losses.
3 losses here.
Excuse me, 3 losses, 2 wins. They're better than this. And, we'll see how they put it together. They're dangerous. We can put it that way. They're a team you cannot overlook at the Northeast Water Polo Conference Championship in a month. So Brown has potential to run here. I would not be shocked if they're in the finals this year. Again, they were in the finals last year. I wouldn't be shocked if they're in the finals this year. So we'll see how that plays out. Don't know the status of Princeton's goalkeeper, Krzysztof Kovac. He's been out for a few games. So hopefully he's okay. We don't speculate about injuries and things we don't know. That's just not polite, nor is it right to do. But he hasn't been playing, and I do know he's been in street clothes. He's been injured. So hopefully he's okay and able to come back, because he's a difference maker for that Princeton team. So
then rounding off MPSF.
Yeah.
Number 4, Stanford, 1 and 2. Number 3, Cal, 1 and 2. Number 2, USC, 2 and 1. And number 1, UCLA, 2 and 1.
Yeah, so this is wild. So as the world knows, USC beat UCLA, handing them their first loss of the year. Cal lost to Stanford, giving Stanford their first MPSF win of the year. Cal has lost to USC. Sorry, This can't be right. Cal has beat
Cal
USC.
beat USC.
Yeah, twice this year. Once an MPF invite. But they all kind of matter, frankly, for the at-large aspect of things. All those games really tally. There's not any difference in beating, from a credit standpoint, if you will, in beating USC and MPSF invite or beating them in conference. Anyway, so Cal has 2 wins over USC, 2 losses to UCLA in just regular season, not conference play, and 1 loss to Stanford. Stanford's only win versus the top 4 is against Cal. They've lost to UCLA twice, and they've lost to USC twice. So for them, as much as that win was huge, and that was a must-win game for Stanford against Cal on Friday in that Big Splash edition. That was a must-win game. If they had lost that game, their chances of the at-large were kind of barely over 1%. Like a lot would have had to happen to help them out. Okay. So now that they've won, they have to win out the rest of the way, with the exception of they could probably drop one game to a UCLA or USC. But in 2 weeks, they're going to have to go down south. Mind you, they still have Fordham this weekend. They're going to have to go down south. They're going to get USC, UCLA. Then they're going to come home, and 2 weeks later, they have Cal at Cal. They have to win at least 2 of the 3 games there in order to kind of get to an at-large bid. They're still on the outside looking in. Now, they're playing well. If they're going to do it, they figured out a way to play that they're going to be able to do it. I don't want to diminish the USC win over UCLA. First time USC has beaten UCLA in a regular season in 5 years. I do not envy what UCLA players are going to have to go through on this bye week as they prepare for Stanford and Cal coming down. It is not going to be easy. They're going to refine their craft, and those guys, knowing those players and how hard they work, they're all going to be on the same page, and they're going to be like, we have to be better. And there's nothing that they're not going to be willing to do. Like they're going to work so hard together. It's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen is how tight this team is. And we talk about this a lot, Clay. The teams that are really tight, they're the ones that are successful. This off deck, the out of pool stuff, it really is starting to play up more and more. We've always said it's important. I think I'm seeing it more this year than I've ever seen it with any team. UCLA leading the way there. Davis is doing a nice job with that. I think Harvard has a very good culture for their team as well. You're starting to see some wins there. Santa Clara's culture has gotten a ton better. Like some of these teams that are on the rise, a lot of it has to do with their chemistry and their culture. So USC takes down UCLA first time in 5 years in the regular season. Get the monkey off the back. We've been saying it all year. If there's a team out there that we think can beat UCLA, it's USC because of that talent. We'll get into our 3 stars here in a minute, but was so impressed with the defense of USC.
Yep.
The defense of USC was outstanding. They played Mills for one half, Hertzer for one half. They both had the same line. They both gave up 6 goals and had 3 saves, but Hertzer had a nice save versus Ryder at the very end of the game to seal it. So it was an exciting weekend in the MPSF. I like that. I don't like to say I like when teams lose. That's not what I'm saying. I like the parity. I like the fact that UCLA is not undefeated. If anything, though, I think other teams might be upset that USC beat them because they're going, well, now you've woken the bear. They were cruising along, and now they're going to double down, and they're just going to get tougher.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I will tell you, though, the way this is mapping out, if Stanford cannot win another MPSF game, if Stanford cannot win 2, if not 3 of the next 3 MPSF games, the MPSF tournament will basically be perfunctory at that point, and the base for everybody except for Stanford. Stanford's only way in would be to win the MPSF tournament, which that's going to be a pretty tough thing to do. UCLA, USC, and Cal will probably train through that tournament and not taper because they feel like, hey, we've got this sewn up. Whatever it may be. So we'll see how that plays out. We're speculating now. We got time. We'll figure it out. But interesting setup now.
Okay. Going into stars. Week 8, 3 stars. Wes, I didn't see this game, but Adam Peoch, right?
Yeah, Peoch. 5 of 6 shooting, 5 goals, 4 assists, 2 steals for Long Beach. Princeton takes down Long Beach. That's big for Princeton, kind of reasserting themselves. Long Beach continues to kind of, I don't want to say spiral, but they're struggling, man. I know they got a win versus San Diego, I think it was. That was a nice win for them. But San Diego also struggling right now from just a leadership standpoint without Ackerstrom, who's going to be that guy they can rely on. But Payot's nice kid, by the way. Really like Adam. I had a chance to chat with him quite a bit in Zagreb. He was part of the Hungarian U20 team. He and his family, really nice people. Good to see him continue to rise. In his sophomore year, 5 goals. That's not a small amount of goals as Princeton took down. He really led the way for Princeton as they took down Long Beach on their West Coast swing here. USC. Yeah, we did a couple of team wins, as you can see here, team awards, which we like. I like team awards better than individual awards, to be quite clear with you. 13-12 win over UCLA. First time UCLA has lost all year. First time UCLA has lost since the MPSF tournament last year.
To USC.
That's right. You held UCLA centers to no goals. Connor Cohen and Mihailo Vukovic, if we were going to award a star, you guys would get it. Vukovic, a huge piece for USC. 3 goals against UCLA. He adds something of this dynamic shooting from the top, from the perimeter. Cohen, outstanding work. Both of these guys in their final years, they've got something to play for. I thought they did an outstanding job against the UCLA centers, holding them to no goals. And that, look, UCLA will get goals on power plays. The fact that there were no natural goals is huge. The fact that there are natural goals and no power play goals, that was enormous. And they didn't take a ton of exclusions either. I thought they did a really nice job just going hands up, not engaging with the contact. UCLA, you've talked about this, Clay. Why don't you talk about the way UCLA centers approach this?
Well, I mean, UCLA's offense, like, they got guys that can rip from the outside. Like, they can score in the half court, obviously.
Yeah.
From the Dodds, from the Lathies, anybody. But I do think that they make something out of nothing a lot of times because of the efforts of Castillo, of Secchi in center, drawing off-ball exclusions. I think that's a major component to their offense, not just to get man-up opportunities, but also to get other teams in foul trouble, right? But USC found a way to, it seemed like, minimize a lot of those off-ball exclusions, which gives UCLA that new breath of life in their offense. So if you just keep them to that single offensive 30-second possession and you let them take that shot from outside, hands up, hopefully you get that block, then that's a much better situation. So I noticed it a few times for Connor Cohen just doing an excellent job not getting himself kicked out, which is not easy to do against.
What are UCLA centers doing to draw off-ball exclusions, Clay?
You want contact typically as a center. You want contact because it's much easier to draw an exclusion than it is to be not kicked out. And as a defender, you're wanting to maintain position, and there's some, arm wrestling at play. But anytime as a center, if you have a defender guarding you and you feel their hands down, as an actor, everybody, we all know it is easy to sell that it looks like the defender is doing something underwater to get you held. So it could be making noise, could be flailing, pulling them down with you. But the more contact you can get, the more you can engage their hands and even hold their arm underwater, hold their wrist underwater, whatever it is, so that it looks like the defender's hands are down. Easy kick out, typically. So as a defender for USC in this instance, there was an amazing effort to keep your hands free. So there's still contact, so they're not just left wide open, but keeping those arms straight up and out, so that whatever the struggle that's happening in 2 meters, the ref's going to look at that and be like, he might almost call it simulation at a certain point. Because if the center's struggling for no reason, defender's hands are straight up, they're not going to call anything.
Yeah. So you're saying that these centers will come in, they'll create contact, they'll grapple, they'll grab you, hit, kick, whatever. And then what they're relying on is you to come down with your hands and retaliate or react. But USC didn't do that. So basically they gave up their body and said, I'm going to take the beating here.
Very selfless. It's very selfless defense because it's instinctive to either want to wrestle back or to protect yourself. Either one of those, you need your hands to do those things.
To do that.
So if you're willing to say, I'm not going to play your game, I'm not even going to protect myself, do what you will, but I'm not going to get myself kicked out. It's a very selfless, tough way to play defense.
Well, they're going to this week with some bruised ribs, I'm sure. As you know, there's a lot of contact that goes on in there. At the high levels, I remember playing against with Kasher Stamesh and Molnar Stamesh, and just how physical those guys would be. and just watching them, like it is a battle in there. And this happens look, nobody's exempt to this. You watch any center, any high level center, they're coming in, they want to create contact. It's physical. They're grabbing, they're hitting, they're kicking, everything that's going on. It was cool to see just USC be like, it's going to hurt tomorrow. I'm going to take it.
Like, now. It's going to hurt today.
About it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good for them. They held them to no goals. And when you don't get production out of your center, it's so hard to keep scoring from the outside, even with all the weapons that UCLA has. The UCLA is outstanding on their 6-on-5. That's really their bread and butter. They haven't, to me, that was the difference. They were forced to play 6-on-6 more often, and they couldn't get production out of that center position. That was big. So congrats to USC having a winning strategy there against UCLA for the first time in a very long time. Stanford as a team, 12-8 win versus Cal. They only gave up 8 goals. Their defense stood on their head, a number of great field blocks. They were really, really good front to back, start to finish, top to bottom. I have yet to see Stanford in the years we've been covering play at this level before. This is not the same talent that they had last year. They were deeper last year, but this team is playing at a higher level. Full stop. That Cal team, so much better than last year's Cal team. So much better. And this Stanford team shut them down. Shut them down. There was nothing happening for Cal other than Beso, Ahkvlediani. And that was it. He had to carry the load, but he can't do it for 4 quarters. This game is too hard. That's part of what I love about this game, is that you have to have other people contributing. Stanford has found their holy trinity, I like to call it, between Ballo, Forer, and Georgie. 9 of their 12 goals in that game. The Stanford team deserves this star. Congrats, guys. I know you all vie for the star. So really cool to see Stanford on the rise, and they're starting to come together. You can see in their style of play and the way that they're starting to communicate in the water. They're starting to enjoy it again. You can see them coming together and play well together. So we'll see how this shakes out for the rest of the year, but great week of water polo, great weekend of water polo.
Indeed.
All right. And now, we were going to do like side by side. So we're going to go through these one by one, Clay. UCLA will retain the top spot. Their only loss to USC, because they only have 1 loss, and they have been better throughout the course of the year than USC has been, who has lost to Cal a couple of times. Okay. So UCLA stays at 1. USC moves from 3 to 2. Which is warranted. Despite losing to Cal twice, they've beaten UCLA, and they've beaten Stanford a couple of times.
A better record against top 4 teams.
Better record against top 4 teams. Cal drops down to 3 with their loss to Stanford, but Stanford does not advance up. So similarly to UCLA not dropping because they've lost 1 game, Stanford doesn't get to go up a bunch because they've won 1 game. So this is
worst record against top 4 teams.
Yeah, worst record against top 4 teams of these 4. So we have a bit of recency bias here, which we debated bringing Stanford up and Cal to 4, potentially USC to 1. To me, the games have to matter, right, to some degree. So there has to be some change in rankings, but we didn't want to be so drastic that everything they've done prior to this doesn't matter. Though when it comes to NC2A selection, your last 10 games are really important in head-to-head, or the most important criteria, as we learned last year. Fordham staying at 5. Well, we'll see how long that lasts, as they've got a heck of a schedule starting Tuesday night against Long Beach. So
but based off Stanford's performance also against Cal, the change, while they didn't move up above Cal, is that they're no longer floating in this middle, perhaps with Fordham. There's certainly a delineated 1 through 4 again, and then we'll see where Fordham lie. They might surprise us, but we'll see.
Yeah. So Fordham will take on Cal and Stanford this week. So we'll see. I love it. Settle it in the pool. That's going to be a fun game. So Fordham at 5 until they prove us otherwise. Davis stays at 6 despite the loss to Stanford. Again, it just is, you're not going to drop too much if you lose the teams above you. CBU stays at 7. I know there's a lot of contention about CBU being at 7, but they've been the best team in the WCC, which is the best conference depth wise in America. Like they continue to perform really well. I know they've had a loss here and there, but look, of recency, the last 10, they have been really good. So tough to take them out of that spot. We're going to see how that gets.
I could easily see CBU beating Pacific, San Jose State, and Pepperdine.
Yeah,
they beat Pepperdine like easy,
yeah.
right? So like there's really Pacific that they need to prove themselves this weekend.
Yeah, so they'll get Pacific in I think 2 weeks, Clay. I think November 2nd.
2 weeks, sorry,
2 weeks. Yeah. So Pacific, who beat San Jose State head to head, stays ahead of San Jose State. It's that simple, right? To me, and Pacific did nothing but help themselves. UCSB lost this weekend. I mean, again, they're just it's I don't know what you're going to get with them. They have talent, they can be successful, but then they lose tough games that they shouldn't lose, in my opinion. It just, consistency is key. So Pacific moves to 8, San Jose State trailing them moves to 9, Pepperdine back in the top 10. This was tough. This was the toughest one. I felt we looked at Long Beach. We even looked at Princeton, who beat Long Beach. Couldn't put Long Beach in if we weren't going to put Princeton in, but Princeton had some bad losses as well. Pepperdine, they beat Air Force. They've been good. They've been playing without Chapo all year, aside from one game against Long Beach. They did beat Long Beach. This is very convoluted. They beat them, then they lost to them, and then that team beat. Like, there's no transitive property here. Well, because they beat Long Beach, they would beat Princeton. No, it's kind of like this weird triangle of like, if you beat somebody and they beat somebody, it doesn't mean you're going to beat them. It's a very weird thing in this muddled middle, as we've called it this year.
Yep.
So, to me, these are, pretty solid teams. The fact that WCC. So next year, Davis is in the WCC. The fact that WCC this year is 7 through 10 right now, with Davis coming to the WCC, is just like mind blowing to me.
Yep.
Like, you would have 6 through 10 would be WCC. That's bananagrams. It's crazy talk. So, deep conference. Man.
Yeah, I don't know if I like it personally, because it kind of creates the next level MPSF, you know what I mean? Where it's all these best teams are consolidated here, and then all the next best teams are consolidated here. So technically it's a more competitive conference, which is great, but then we're seeing fewer of those teams have a chance to make it to 2As is the result of that. So
that's right, Clay. And that's why the WCC, WWPA, GCC, those were all formed. Big West was because those teams didn't want to play in the MPSF and feel like there was no opportunity for them to be successful and make the NC2As. So I could see conference shuffling going on again at some point. We'll see what happens, because the Big West is going to need a team with San Diego leaving as well. Now, that said, CBU is leaving to go to the Big West next year.
Okay, right.
So we'll see what happens there. But all that being the case, here we are. I know this is what everybody lives for, is our rankings. This is so exciting. Very cool. So coming up next, our key matchups here: LMU at Santa Clara. That should be on ESPN Plus unless something changes. That may get switched to overnight.
Is this week 9?
Yeah, it probably is.
Okay, week 9. Whatever.
Yeah. Sorry.
This is a very professional, high-paid production, everyone. So we're happy to bring you the best of the best in our pre-production.
We do the best we can, guys. It was a busy weekend. I had my real job was demanding this.
Real job is your 2-year-old daughter as well.
Yeah, there's some things. We're doing the best we can here, guys, as amateurs of the podcast world. LMU at Santa Clara. There's a chance this becomes overnight, but I'm not sure that the word has yet to be finalized here. So hopefully it is, and it goes on. I just want it streamed, right? We just want it to be streamed. Fordham versus Stanford. That's a big one. Fordham at Long Beach will be Tuesday, 4 p.m. Davis at UCSD. This is a trap game for Davis. They're playing really well. I don't see them letting down. It's a conference game. UCSD is kind of getting their back against the wall. They need a win. They need a win. I know that they beat Santa Barbara, I think, but that's not the same as beating Davis. They need to prove that they can hang come end of the year. This win would go a really long way for their confidence to be like, well, we beat Davis already this year. We can do this again, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that shakes out. It's at UCSD, which is, I think, one of the most fun pools to play out because they do a nice job getting the stands out there. getting the stands full and so on and so forth. So these are big games. There's a lot of good games this weekend. Be sure to check out all the action. ESPN Plus will be the majority of it. We got some teams visiting from from the East Coast, Harvard, Brown, in the Julian Fraser Memorial. Big shout out to Santa Clara, San Jose State for hosting the Julian Fraser Memorial, what has become the biggest tournament, I believe, of the year, having all these East Coast teams out here. It is really a great opportunity. And you know, I love these tournaments that are in memory of people, because it shows that like there's some love within our sport for our teammates, for those who have taught us a lot. You know, Clay, we host the Bob Neely Memorial Cup that's coming up, but the Julian Fraser Memorial, you know, hats off to Santa Clara for keeping this going. Will Grant, I know it's very personal to him. I can relate to that. So, you know, I'm tearing up a little bit, but good luck this weekend to everybody. We'll have our predictions coming out in a couple of days for those of you who are members, and Friday you'll have to wait if you're not a member. So be sure to subscribe and become a member for $5 a month and get access to the spreadsheets. So all good. Clay, any closing thoughts before we jump to our interview this week with Beso Ahkvlediani?
No, that's it. It's Fordham week. We've been talking about it all season. We wanted to start the episode as we did, just for those who listen for the first 5-10 minutes, so that they get it. They don't have to wait an hour into the episode to be like, when are they going to talk about this? So, yeah, it's another thrilling week of water polo. This season has not disappointed at all. So it's a good time to be a fan of college water polo in general.
Yeah, right on. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Coming up next is our interview with Beso Ahkvlediani, the Georgian first year at Cal, who is leading the way for the Bears. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone. Joining tonight is the newest member of Cal men's water polo, a man from Georgia, which is a pretty unique opportunity for us. Beso Ahkvlediani. Beso, how you doing, man? Thanks for being here.
Hello. Thank you for having me, and thank you for inviting me here in that amazing podcast.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate
I'm
that
doing
very
really
much.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Well, you're in your first season at Cal, your first year at Cal. You're 2 months into the season now. You've had the opportunity to play in Champions League. You've had the opportunity to play, you know, for pro teams abroad, and some of the highest level, you know, experience that you could possibly have against teams like Recco. Talk to us about what was the decision like for you to leave that and come here and go to Cal to study for university degree?
So all the time, I'm asking myself, what do I have on my hands other than water polo? Like, I should have some degree to, like, live my life other than water polo, to do some stuff other than water polo. But I love really, really much water polo. So, yeah, that was the only reason why I chose Cal and came in the US in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like, if I want to go back after my degree, I can go back and play again. So
Yeah.
I don't see any problem in that.
Yeah, no risk for you, really. You get an education here in the States, and one of the best, and the original UC in California. Now, you're from Georgia. We don't see a lot of recruits from Georgia coming all the way over here. How did you learn about Cal? What was that process like to, like, you know, learn about Cal and coming to California?
So there was a thing. So we were in China, university games, Georgian national team, and we played against USA national team. We won against them, and I scored a couple goals, like 3 or 4, I don't remember. And on the next day, if I remember right, Sefa messaged me like, yeah, like we want you to come here, and I was also interested. And I looked the Cal water polo history. I saw everything that they have, a big culture, history, and everything. And yeah, why not? And I want degree. #1 public university, Berkeley. Yes, of course.
Yeah. All right. So now you're here. What are you studying?
And so my major now is undeclared, but I'm thinking to study economics.
Okay. All right. You going to graduate in 3 years, you think, or is it going to take a little bit longer?
I'll try my best, like
Yeah.
3.5, 3, I would
Yeah.
say.
Take some summer school and courses.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be hard, but yeah.
And so you've had your first taste of American NC2A collegiate water polo, which is now part of the Collegiate Sports Commission. So it's becoming more of a professional sport with NIL, and the different ability for universities to pay players is now available, if you will. Talk to us about competition-wise. What have you noticed, maybe some of the differences to what you've experienced when playing at home in Georgia and abroad?
So first biggest thing is that rules are not the same. So let's say the clockwise, it's 30 seconds here. In
Mm-hmm.
Europe, it's 28. Also, MENA, there is 18. Here is like you can play 30 seconds. Also, like after 20, and back in Georgia or in general in Europe, after 20, 18 seconds now, it's turnover. So the ball is in opponent. So I would say that, and there is no flank substitutions. Yeah, like everything is so hard to like combine everything. It's so hard, I would say,
Yeah.
because that rules were like 7 years ago, and yeah, I said, oh yeah,
We are playing with older rules here in the United States. Yes, we are. There's no question about it. Though we did for a while lead, we went to 25 meters, I think in like 2010, 2012 or something, which now the
Okay.
world has decided 25 meters is
Yeah.
more fun, which is good.
It's more intense. Yeah,
Yeah, it's more intense. You sprint more. I always found when I was playing 30 meters, it was more get down the pool versus sprint down the pool. Just get down the pool. 10 seconds left on the clock, 12 seconds left on the clock versus with 25, you're sprinting. It's a much harder swim.
yes.
Talk to me about like the competition. You had a chance now. You've played UCLA, you've played USC, you played Stanford for the first time this season in your career. What what are you noticing?
So here's the thing. Back in Europe, all the teams compete on a really high level, I would say, because every single player plays on a highest level. So they don't have that kind of mistakes. What like might here players gonna have that mistakes, and that makes our games really tough and tie games because like nobody can expect us to play against UC Davis tie game, I would say, but like it was tough. It was a tough game. We played almost tie, but we won that game.
Yeah.
And like I would say, like mistakes makes that game different. That's the whole thing. Like
So a lot more mistakes. I think. Do you attribute that to the general population here that you're playing against is quite a bit younger than maybe that what you're
yeah,
playing when you're playing pro?
yes. Even
Yeah.
if they are like ranked on a top 5, I would say
Uh-huh.
they will like make some mistakes that
Yeah.
it's not acceptable in a top 5 ranked teams.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, a missed block, your hips in the wrong place, like
Yeah.
not coming back on the drop, reading the offense and whatever else. But that's okay. We continue to better, never best, we like to say. Talk to me about kind of this season, what you're looking forward to. You're 2 months in, you've got 1 month until the MPSF conference tournament, and then about 6 weeks, actually. It's 6 weeks, 5 days until what NC2As would be. So what are you looking forward to? Is there a certain game you're looking forward to? Maybe at the big splash where Stanford comes to you. Have you looked at that? Are you looking ahead at all? Maybe not. I don't know.
So the important and main thing is that we want that ring, and we will gonna do everything for that.
Yeah.
And every single team should be prepared when they will play against us because it's not gonna be easy game. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I would say that
Yeah.
we're preparing to revenge that games that we lost, but like it's gonna be so fun, tough, and really amazing games.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Now you're playing with Tomas Perrone. Louis Schuler's been hurt. You've got Albert Ponferrada. You've got Aran Pina in the goal. You've got a number of what I'm getting as a lot of internationals here that you're getting to play with. Is it different? Are the styles contrasting between New Zealand, Australia, where Schuler's becoming Australian, the Spanish guys, and then you've got some American guys in the middle. Like, is the style different at all? Like, is there chemistry you need to build, or what do you like? Anything that's challenging about that?
Yeah, I would say uh, from the beginning it was hard because everybody was unknown. Like we didn't know any each other. So
Yeah,
like by the time in 3 weeks, I would say, uh, like we knew each other like as our family because we spend our time the whole day, I would say, outside of the pool, uh, also during the training, and we're trying to help each other, let's say in classes, on training, some drills, some exercises, and like if we as a teammates explain and giving each other some really good advices, like we're building our relationship, and in a game it helps us a lot. So I would say right now, like we know each other so good. But I'm gonna say about Louis, like I never played with him, but I hope he'll gonna be back soon, and we're gonna have the whole team, and we'll play
yeah,
really good.
yeah. Have you ever been on a team with so many left-handers?
Yes, I've been, but we have yeah, a bunch of them. Yeah,
Well, you got a lefty center, you got four on the right side. Perrone plays over there. I just feel like
yeah,
it's incredible. Not
yes.
many teams I've been around with a lefty center and four lefties, but it is what it is. All right, so next question: outside of school or outside of water polo, what are you enjoying most about just being at Berkeley, being here in California?
People, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
relationship uh, between the people because everyone is so kind and
Mm-hmm.
uh, like as I told you, uh, every single holiday, boys were going out, maybe in San Francisco,
Yeah,
having some fun, like enjoying with life outside of water polo. I'm not saying like we're partying, but like we're just like eating outside or
yeah,
like healthy, not the junk food.
yeah.
That's the main thing.
I've heard that about this team that you guys are really tight. You're very close. You all hang out together. You spend a lot of time together. You genuinely seem to like each other.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the main thing I would say in a team. Yeah,
yeah. Was it like that when you were playing in Georgia for
yeah,
the your pro
yeah.
team?
Always.
Yeah.
If it wasn't like that, I was trying to like create that kind of thing,
Yeah.
because it's really important. But all the time it was like that.
Yeah. All right. Now you're getting a chance to play for the great Kirk Everest, one of the winningest coaches in college water polo. He's got 6 national championships under his name. He's one of as an active coach, I believe he has the most, if not tied with Adam Wright at UCLA. What has that been like for you? Is it different at all than what you experienced in Europe, or is he pretty similar to what like a lot of the pro coaches are that you've been around?
Yeah, I would say he's more chill coach. I would say
Mm-hmm.
he's not screaming. In Europe, every single coach screams. They are more emotionally, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
but he is a chill coach, which gives us a really good advices, tactics, motivates us, doing everything what like head coach should do.
Mm-hmm.
I would say so. He's a great coach. I cannot say anything negative or
Yeah.
something because I really like him.
Yeah. Yeah. He seems
And
to.
other than coach, he's sorry. Other than coach, he's our friend, and
Yeah.
it's more important to be friend outside of water polo with the players because we build relationship.
Yeah, I mean, you spend a lot of time together. Like, you spend a ton of time together. So, ideally, there's a good relationship there, a good, the ability to have a good dialogue and work together and whatnot. So very cool, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Obviously, it's late for you. It's a school night for you. But at this point in the show, we like to open it up and just say, hey, look, the studio is yours. Is there anything you'd like to share with your family or international students or just the water polo community at large about, your advice when coming to the United States or playing here in the NC2A or otherwise as well, school-wise?
Yeah, I would love to. So I would say that if you're choosing to play water polo or in general sport, like you should be more consistently like you should like put a really good effort in it because it takes a lot of time. It's not gonna work out in 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. Like let's say for example, if I wanna score and practice cross cage barring, if I shoot 10 times and if I didn't score, I'll keep going and until I didn't score. So that's the whole thing in a sport, I would say. And
Yeah, right.
the family thing is the biggest thing in sport because if you feel support from a family, you don't need anything else, I would say.
I love it. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's great, Beso. Thank you so much for taking the time on a school night. Cal's a demanding program, so I'm told. And yeah, dude, good luck the rest of the way. We'll certainly be watching, hoping to get up there for your Fordham match on Thursday this week. But really means a lot that you would take some time, and it's been great chatting with you. So thank you.
Thank you so much for your time and wish you a great luck in that podcast. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
buddy. All right. Talk soon.
Goodbye.